You wake up Monday morning. You drag yourself out of bed, sit in traffic for 45 minutes, grind through 9 hours at a job you tolerate on a good day, drive home exhausted, and then check your bank account on Friday after payday. And somehow, it's already half gone. Rent, groceries, that car payment, the electricity bill that's somehow higher than last month, even though you swore you'd be more careful. A subscription you forgot you were paying for. Dinner out twice because you were too tired to cook. And the worst part? You're not even living large. You're not flying first class. You're not buying designer clothes. You just existing. And yet, at the end of every month, you have almost nothing left to show for it. Sound familiar? If it does, I need you to stick with me, because what I am about to share is going to completely change the way you think about your salary, your spending, and why building wealth has felt impossible no matter how hard you work. My name is Jesse, and I've spent way too much time thinking about why ordinary people with ordinary salaries can seem to build wealth no matter what they do. If you, someone who feels like you, working harder than ever but falling further behind, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Now, let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody tells you when you take that first real job. A normal salary was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you functional, productive, compliant, just comfortable enough to keep showing up, but never quite comfortable enough to walk away. I know that sounds harsh, but stick with me, because the math doesn't lie. The average full-time worker in the United States earns around $59,000 a year. After taxes, that's roughly $46,000 in take-home pay. Now break that down. Housing eats about 33%. Transportation, around 17%. Food, another 12%. Healthcare, utilities, insurance, easily 15% more. We haven't even talked about clothing, phone bills, internet, or, having any kind of life at all. By the time the dust settles, the average person is saving somewhere between 3% and 5% of their income. And that's if they being disciplined. Look, let me show you what that actually looks like over a lifetime. If you save 5% of a $46,000 take-home salary, that's $2,300 a year. Over 40 years of working, with average market returns of around 7%, you'd end up with roughly $460,000. That sounds like a lot, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. Inflation will eat about half of that purchasing power over 4 decades. So, in today's dollars, you've worked your entire adult life and ended up with about $230,000 in real wealth. That's it. 40 years, $230,000. That's not generational wealth. That's not financial freedom. That's barely enough to retire on for 10 years if you were careful. So what's actually going on here? Here's what most people don't realize. The problem isn't that you don't earn enough. The problem is the entire structure of how a salary works. When you trade time for money, your income is capped. There are only 24 hours in a day. There are only so many promotions you can chase, so many hours you can work, so many years you have before your body and mind start to slow down. A salary is, by definition, a linear income. You work, you earn. You stop working, you stop earning. Wealthy people don't think this way. Wealthy people own things that earn money whether they show up or not. Stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property. While you, sleeping, their assets are working. While you stuck in traffic, their money is multiplying. This is the difference between earning and owning, and it's the single most important financial distinction nobody ever taught you in school. Now, you might be thinking, Jesse, that's easy to say, but I don't have money to invest. I'm barely covering my bills. And I hear you. Trust me, but that's exactly the trap I want to talk about next. Let's talk about something called lifestyle inflation, or, as I like to call it, the silent wealth killer. Here's how it works. You get your first job out of school. You earn $35,000. You figure out how to live on it. Then, a year later, you get a raise to $42,000. What happens? You move into a slightly nicer apartment. You upgrade your car. You start eating out more. You tell yourself you've earned it. Then, another raise. $50,000. Bigger apartment. Newer phone. Maybe a gym membership you barely use. Then $65. Then $80. And here's the cruel joke. By the time you're earning twice what you started with, you're saving roughly the same percentage as before, maybe even less, because every raise didn't go into your future. It went into your lifestyle. A study by Bankrate found that around 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including a surprising chunk of people earning over $100,000 a year. Read that again. People earning six figures, still broke at the end of every month. Why? Because the lifestyle expanded to match the income. It always does, unless you make a deliberate decision to stop it. This is where the psychology of money gets really fascinating. There's a concept psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. The idea is that humans quickly adapt to new circumstances, both good and bad. You get the raise, and within 3 months, the new income feels normal. The thrill is gone. So you chase the next upgrade, and the next, and the next. You, running on a treadmill, sweating, working hard, going nowhere. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The wealthy don't escape this trap by earning more. They escape it by changing the gap between what they earn and what they spend. That gap is called your savings rate, and it's the single most powerful number in your financial life. Let me prove it to you with some math. Imagine two people, both earn $50,000 a year. Person A saves 10%. Person B saves 40%. Person A is saving $5,000 a year. At 7% returns, after 30 years, they'll have about $510,000. Not bad. Person B is saving $20,000 a year. At the same 7% returns, after 30 years, they'll have over $2 million. Same salary, same job, same number of years, 4 times the wealth. But here's the part that really got me when I first understood it. Person B doesn't just have more money, they have more freedom. 3. Because they trained themselves to live on $30,000, they only need a portfolio that generates $30,000 a year to retire. Person A needs a portfolio generating $45,000 because they got used to spending more. Person B can retire decades earlier, not because they earned more, because they wanted less. Your savings rate is more important than your salary. Let me say that again. Your savings rate is more important than your salary. Okay, so let's get practical, because I don't want this to be one of those videos where I tell you the problem and leave you feeling worse than when you started. Here, what you can actually do, starting this week. First, track everything for 30 days, and I mean everything. Every coffee, every subscription, every late-night impulse purchase. You can't fix what you can see. Most people are shocked when they find out where their money actually goes. They think they're spending $200 a month on food. It's $600. They think they have 3 subscriptions. They have 11. Second, calculate your real savings rate. Not what you think it is, what it actually is. Take what you saved last month, divide it by what you earned, and multiply by 100. If the number is below 15%, you have work to do. If it's below 5%, you're in the danger zone. The goal is to push that number up year after year by even 1 or 2 percentage points at a time. Third, automate the gap. This is the single most powerful trick I have ever learned. The day your paycheck hits your account, automatically transfer a fixed percentage into a separate investment account before you even see it. Out of sight, out of mind. You can spend what you don't see. Fourth, and this is the big one, start owning assets, even small ones. A low-cost index fund, a high-yield savings account, a side project that generates income. The point isn't to get rich overnight. The point is to start the shift from being someone who only earns to someone who also owns. Let me tell you about a guy I'll call Marcus. Regular guy. Worked as a logistics coordinator. Made about $52,000 a year. Nothing flashy. But Marcus did something different. From the day he got his first paycheck at 24, he set up an automatic transfer of 25% of his income into an index fund. He drove a used car. He lived with a roommate longer than his friends. He cooked at home. Nothing extreme, just intentional. By the time Marcus was 40, his investment account had passed $400,000. By 50, it was over $1 million. He didn't earn $1 million salary. He never got famous. He just kept the gap wide and let time do the work. His friends, who earned the same or even more, were still stressing about retirement at 55. Marcus had options. That's the real prize, by the way. Not the money itself. The options. The freedom to say yes or no to your own life. Now, here's the part that nobody wants to hear. The reason most people don't do this isn't because they can't. It's because it's boring. Building wealth on a normal salary isn't dramatic. There's no lottery moment, no viral business idea, no overnight transformation. It's the same boring, repetitive decisions made over and over again for decades. Save, invest, wait, save, invest, wait. And in a world that sells you instant gratification on every screen you look at, choosing slow and boring feels almost rebellious. But here's the truth. The people who win financially aren't the smartest. They're not the highest earners. They're the most patient. They were the ones who understood early that compounding is a force more powerful than any salary, and time is the one thing money can't buy back. So if you take one thing from this video, take this. A normal salary will never make you wealthy, but a normal salary combined with a high savings rate, an ownership mindset, and patience, that can absolutely change your life. You don't need to win. You just need to stop losing. You don't need to earn more. You need to keep more. You don't need a side hustle empire. You need a system that works whether you're motivated or not. Start small. Start this week. Track your spending. Automate your savings. Buy your first asset, even if it's just $50 into an index fund. The size doesn't matter. The habit does. Because 5 years from now, you'll either be 5 years deeper into the same trap or 5 years into a completely different financial life. The only thing that decides which one is the choice you make right now. You won't want to miss our next video, where we're going to dig into the exact step-by-step system for building your first $10,000 in investments, even on a tight budget. And you make sure of that by liking and subscribing. We drop new videos every Tuesday and Friday. I'll see you in the next one.